Liz Willis is back on Right Side Broadcasting, which was really out of the blue. Right Side Broadcasting, they're in Georgia covering a Trump rally because, now we are in campaign season. We still have primaries going on, guys. So I'm going to get to vote for Trump this week here in Florida.
That'll be exciting.
Early voting started today in Florida, but I'm going to go during the week sometime and vote. So Liz Willis back on Right Side Broadcasting. And a couple podcasts ago, we were talking about Right Side. Right Side Broadcasting has made every Trump speech and every Trump rally available for years now when no one was carrying them. Hardly anyone's carrying them now except them. And the people they started out with, except Brian Glenn, have pretty much all gone. And then I tuned on today, and Liz Willis was on. And I did notice a week or so ago, Liz Willis's friend who had disappeared, I don't know her name, was back. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. What's happened to Liz Willis? And Liz Willis was back today. And, she was with Right Side in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
but we're not sure if she's back for good or just for today because they happen to be in Georgia where she lives. And she kind of said, she said, I was really honored that they asked me to come back to host today. So I don't know if I hope she's permanently back, but maybe she got married and doesn't want to travel around. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she's had a kid. And
I don't think any of that's no.
Well,
I don't think. I think we would have heard about that. But I don't
know. But maybe we'll find out.
But
whether she's with them just for today or permanent.
The thing about Right Side, and I like Liz Willis a lot because Liz Willis is responsible for me getting that autographed by President Trump MAGA hat when I was at Mar-a-Lago. I would not have gotten that autographed MAGA hat if it were not for Liz Willis. So I'm very excited for Liz Willis, and I'm glad she's back and everything. And when I was watching her today, though, on Right Side Broadcasting, she was outside doing interviews. And my favorite thing on Right Side Broadcasting, other than, of course, carrying Trump, is that they go out and interview people that are outside the rallies. And, everyone at Right Side Broadcasting is good. I like but there's no one at Right Side that I don't like. But some of them don't interview as well as others. Right. It's not an easy thing to do street interviews with people, nothing about, and they could say anything. You don't know where it's going to go. And she was interviewing people today, and I thought she did really good.
I agree. And I've noticed, I don't know what's changed with her, but she has a lot more. She always had confidence, but she has a lot more confidence than she did. She seemed more assured and approaching people and more welcoming and warm. I don't know. She just seemed a little better than she was before. So I don't know if she's just maturing or she's grown up a little bit or gained a little perspective being away from it and more appreciative. I don't know. But I always liked her, but she seemed even better today.
Yep.
She was outside the arena. It's packed. We have it on Right Side Broadcasting right now while we're recording this. Totally packed. Trump, and he even said this, is going to do better now than any of the other elections in this election. There is a whole movement with young people, thanks to Charlie Kirk.
That's right.
And they have woken up now. Like last week, I don't know if you played the clip or not, Rachel Maddow and her cronies were laughing at people that were concerned about the border. And they just thought it was so funny.
That was during the State of the Union.
So funny. And S.E. Cupp, who doesn't like Trump, made a comment on X, and she said, keep laughing, because she said, you're only going to help Trump get back in the White House because you're so out of touch with what real people care about. Rachel Maddow is a snob, okay? She thinks she is the greatest thing in the world. She's in love with herself. Everybody kisses her ass wherever she goes that's in her orbit, and they just sit in awe of her for some bizarre reason I'll never understand. And to sit there and laugh at the viewers and the voters is such a big mistake. You never see Trump laugh at voters or criticize the voters or make fun of the voters. I mean, there might be one or two guys at the rallies that he says, go home to mommy.
Those are hecklers.
Exactly.
Those are hecklers.
But have you ever heard Trump say negative things about the American citizens?
Never.
But the left have nothing but disdain for people that are regular people.
This thing it was Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid, Nicole Wallace, and who was the other one I left out? Jen Psaki, and they were sitting
Oh,
around
my goodness.
laughing that people are concerned about the border in Virginia.
4 witches.
And, when we were watching the pre-show for the Trump rally on Right Side Broadcasting today, and you see the people come in, when Rachel Maddow and the MSNBC people see that, all they say, look at those white people. And what the left have done
white trash,
is
really.
they think that everyone who's white that's straight is by definition and by birth a bigot, that you should not render an opinion on anything, and that any opinion you give is racist. And this border issue, the MSNBC crowd have defined the border issue as white racists, that would be MAGA, right? White racists don't want non-white people coming to the country. That's not the case at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. MAGA people are all in favor of legal immigration and diversity and everything.
They know that.
Well, no, because they live in a bubble where everyone's gay or a CRT person or something, They live
in a bubble. If you don't think like them, then you're just not worth even
exactly
talking
right.
to.
Yeah, and they think anyone who's not in their circle is a racist, is a bigot, is some ism that's bad, and anything, and it's really sad at MSNBC because what they do is they nonstop racially stereotype. And even
Brian, they have more contempt for minorities that like Trump.
Well, when you listen,
Joy Reid really doesn't even understand. Like somebody like Byron Donalds or any black person that supports Trump. She just thinks they're an Uncle Tom or a traitor to the race. They really just don't get it.
The thing about the MSNBC crowd is they are a very, very tiny minority. Mm-hmm. They're New York liberal elite, Washington liberal elite, Los Angeles liberal elite. And they're a very, very small fringe group that are overrepresented because they're on national television, and they just don't get it. I want to play this clip. They
just live in the bubble. Mm-hmm. They're just in a bubble.
This is from MSNBC, and this is Morning Joe. Morning Joe is basically becoming Baghdad Bob and Tokyo Rose. It's just nonsense. So Joe Scarborough, they're talking about the jobs numbers, which were much higher than were projected. And then they talk about it. Listen.
You just can't stop this economy from roaring. 200.
See, this is the Baghdad Bob thing I'm talking about.
175,000 new jobs.
And consider the fact you've got employers out there still hiring despite inflation, despite that you've got 24 states out there raising minimum wage, they're still hiring. So the thought that we are going to have this hard landing, it is not going to happen.
Okay. There's a reason why the job numbers are up, and it's not good. And this is how they count things. So many people have 2 jobs, even 3 jobs. So the people that have 2 jobs isn't counted as one person with a job. It's counted as 2 people with 2 jobs. And if they have 3 jobs, that's 3 people with 3 jobs.
Right.
That's how they do this.
Right.
So it's
not a good thing that people have to work at 2 or 3 jobs. Just, liberals are so sick that they're celebrating a single mother who has to work 3 jobs just to keep her kids in clothes and food. Mm-hmm. And they think that's a good thing. These people are so out of touch with reality. And it's interesting because Trump is out campaigning. He's out pressing the flesh. He's starting to do bigger and bigger rallies, meeting people. Biden's not going to do that. Biden's not going to have rallies. Nobody would show up, but he's not going to go out and talk to people and meet people. And I think that's going to speak volumes to people, especially now that this guy's actually out meeting us. He cares. Biden's not going to win this from the basement this time. It's not going to happen.
Well, I was watching. There's this new genre that I found on YouTube today, and it's really a sad genre. There, you know how there's these different niches on YouTube, like we do political things. And, there's those RV van life people I talk about sometimes. This is a new niche that I've never heard of, and I wish I wouldn't have found it because it's so sad. And I might erase my entire watch history on YouTube so I don't get any more of these channels recommended to me. I watched 3 of them just a little bit ago before we were doing the show here. And it's people that shop at Dollar Tree, other dollar stores, Dollar General, and stores like this. and they're trying to feed their families on like $35 a week, $25 a week, and they're not doing it for some stunt on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to make this YouTube video. I'm going to see if I can feed my family for $35 this week. They get kids. They don't have any more than $35. And that's the state of the economy because prices are so out of control. And when Joe Scarborough, he was the other day, he said, this president, he's at the top of his game. This clip, this is yesterday. Biden was at an event in Pennsylvania. Listen.
In Pennsylvania, I have a message for you. Send me to Congress so I can support this right. I promise you, we take back Congress, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
Okay. Send me to Congress. let me play that again.
I have a message for you. Send me to Congress so I can support this right.
Send me to Congress. Okay. First off, when he was in the Congress, in the Senate, he wasn't a senator from Pennsylvania. He was a senator from Delaware. So here he is. He is 3 years into his presidency. He was vice president for 8 years. So he has not been in the Senate for 8, 12, like 17 years, right? And he's in Pennsylvania running for Congress. And this is who's running the country. And it's not funny, guys. This is scary.
Yep.
When, and what's going on economically, like the stock market is doing well. One of the reasons the stock market is doing well, in fact, this is the reason the stock market's doing well, is because the stock market, like many other things in the financial markets, is based on future expectations. And the Wall Street crowd think Trump's going to be back in January. So they're coming in and buying up stocks now before there's a huge economic boom with Trump's reelection. But when you have a president, after 8 years of being vice president, then 4 years off, then back for 3 years, and he tells people, send me to Congress. I mean, this is not the first time he said something like this, too, in the last few weeks. This guy is in such severe mental decline.
Yeah. Well, that's Alzheimer's. I remember when my grandpa had it, he thought he was living back in Collingwood, Canada, when he was, a teenager, and didn't know who anybody was because it's all he talked about. And I didn't understand at the time, but my grandma's like, that's Alzheimer's. They think it's like, 50, 60 years ago, and they don't understand. And so people that have Alzheimer's talk about like they're living in the past still.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They can't make that differentiation that, it's 2024. In his mind, he is going to Congress. It's scary, but Morning Joe is hilarious.
But Kathy, when you had grandparents with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, my grandpa.
I had a grandfather with Alzheimer's. But my grandfather with Alzheimer's wasn't running anything.
Well, exactly.
He couldn't even change the channels on the TV by himself. It's so
obvious that Morning Joe is best friends with Biden. They talk on the phone every day. And he really wants him to win because he wants to continue that connection and that access. And that's Joe's favorite. That's Joe Biden's favorite show. He watches it every morning, and he talks to Joe Scarborough throughout the day and has a major influence over what is said. And they're basically propaganda. It's Joe Biden TV is basically what Joe Scarborough can't even think for himself or bring himself to be honest with his audience because he's so in love with Joe Biden and so enamored of their relationship now. And it's pretty sad. And his wife just yaps and like a little yappy dog next to him. That's right. That's right. That's right. She doesn't have a brain of her own either.
Well,
those two are just a couple of idiots.
This thing with him yesterday sent me to Congress, Pennsylvania. And then he started to catch himself at the end that he was starting to get a little more lucid and was trying to do some damage control with what he said in his own sentence. That's pretty scary. Now at the State of the Union, which Marjorie Taylor Greene just did incredible work. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but I want to play this. Marjorie Taylor Greene got Biden during the State of the Union to say illegal immigrant. And that's causing a lot of problems in liberal circles. In liberal Democrat circles, illegal immigrant is like saying the N-word. It's a bad thing to do. So,
well, didn't you say they're trying to call them
newcomers?
Or
newcomers.
That's
the new word.
That's what liberals do. They
Newcomers.
change the wording.
So,
like global warming to climate change.
So Dana Bash did a segment on this and had a lady senator on, Butler, and they were talking about this.
First of all, just the moment, but also on the term he used, illegal. There's been some backlash among some in his own party for using that term.
Look, it was clear being in the chamber last night that there were those in the extreme Republican Party who were trying to bait the president into responding to whatever heckle they were offering. It's unfortunate that the president used that language. I don't believe that is the language that he believes in his heart about immigrant people who find their way to this country to make a better life for themselves.
Notice no concern about Laken Riley.
No.
None. It's just it's about a word that was used. That's the wrong word. And, of course, it's not Biden's fault that he said it. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene's fault. And you can hear in this whole segment, there is no empathy or sympathy for the American people. The Democrats.
I mean, her parents must be just
coming up,
sickened.
Laken Riley's mother has spoken out, and we're going to get to that later in the program.
They must be sickened by that.
Well, you'll find out. Don't miss it, guys. Coming up. But this segment here with Dana Bash and this senator, all this talk about this Republican senator's response to the State of the Union. Okay. What's her name? Katie Britt. Okay. Well, what about this? What about this lady senator who doesn't have an unkind word for the murderer of a girl that was just out jogging, a college student just out jogging, and she gets raped and then she gets murdered, and the senator that doesn't comment on that comments on this inappropriate word, illegal. You can't say illegal. It's pretty twisted, and everything the Democrats are doing is supporting the other side time and time again.
Liberals are really into words.
Oh, yes.
They feel that they're just so cerebral and so far above everybody else and so much more educated. I can't tell you how many times on CNN when I was watching the election results, they would say how the people that voted for Trump didn't go to college. I mean, they said it over. They really try to push that narrative. They really try to believe that we're just stupid people. Let me tell you, everybody in my family voted, except for my brother, voted for Trump. And as far as adults, and we all have a college education. I mean, my sister, my father, my stepmother, my mother, you, my stepfather, all of us have a college education. All, not that matters. But they love to push that narrative.
You're uneducated
on CNN
if you vote for Trump.
That Trump is big with not college educated. Why does that matter to them? Because they feel above everybody.
Yeah.
And they're all into the word and messaging and things like that instead of what's really, really going on. And I feel really bad for Laken Riley's family because not only did he get her name wrong, she was murdered by an illegal who never should have been here. I cannot imagine the anger that they must be feeling towards this government and the feeling of frustration. Now, I know people get killed all the time, and it's senseless. I understand that. I mean, Ted Bundy was senseless too. But these are things that can be prevented. You know what I mean? These are crimes that can be prevented by not allowing these criminals into the country. You're letting them in, and they're committing crimes and murdering our citizens.
That's right.
And I feel so bad for her and obviously for the girl. But I will say this as a little side note: if you're a woman, please don't jog alone.
No,
I cannot tell you.
By the way,
how many times
Kathy,
we see women get killed that do that.
And you know what?
On the news and stuff.
Jogging with your dog doesn't count.
No, you cannot jog alone, especially in a wooded area. I don't like the woods. They creep me out. And a lot of scary people live in the woods. There's a lot of homeless people. If you are a girl and you like to jog in a more like a city environment during the day. Even that's not even safe. Remember that one girl was supposed to go jogging with her father one morning in the middle of the city and he didn't go and she got murdered. I don't think women should jog alone at all. Get a treadmill, jog in the house, or go with a buddy. I mean, I can't tell you how many times on ID we see women that get killed that do that.
What women who jog should do is scary. Is do what you do in clubs. jog in packs. Now,
exactly.
I want to play this clip.
I'm not blaming the girl. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, just as a precaution, please don't do that.
You can't put yourself in a dangerous situation. I mean,
it's not her fault she got killed, but I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, I've been saying for years, women should not be jogging alone.
They shouldn't.
So Biden was getting on the plane, and they asked him if he regretted saying illegal.
Oh, God.
Do you regret using the word illegal to describe immigrants last night, sir?
Well, not probably. I don't regret it. Technically, I'm not supposed to be here.
Technically, you're not supposed to do that, he said. You're not supposed to do that. Say the word illegal. So if somebody does something illegal, you're not supposed to say it's illegal.
That'll be the next thing. The reason they're going to abolish the word illegal completely.
The reason that liberals are all about words is because all they're about is propaganda. And
that's exactly right.
And to have propaganda, you have to use certain words, certain phrases, and remember what Goebbels said, although he said it in German: repeat a lie often enough, and people will believe it. All right, repeat a lie often enough, and people will believe it.
You start altering their perception. And if you watch a certain I think it's okay to watch the news, but don't sit and watch the same network all day long. Flip around, read periodicals, get your news from other sources, YouTube, podcasting. If you're a news junkie, I would highly recommend you do not sit and get all your news from one, even Newsmax, which is great. I would suggest flip around, get different points of view, be open-minded, think for yourself. Because that's when the brainwashing starts, is when you sit there over and over, and you sit there with your eyes open, just staring mindlessly, and they're just spoon-feeding you things. And MSNBC is the worst. Absolutely. I don't watch them, but the clips I see, they are on a whole other level of delusion. They are so radical and so out of touch with people. I mean, I can't believe what the things I hear, the clips I hear that they say. I mean, I just can't believe my ears sometimes. But sad is people listen to it like my brother does all day long. And you should hear when my brother, we try to have a conversation with him. I just don't even get into conversations with him anymore about politics. He brings up things and I just don't say anything. And Brian tries to bite his tongue sometimes, but all his political information comes from MSNBC. And you can tell just by the way he talks, and he's so uninformed. He is so uninformed. But he has no clue what's going on.
Yesterday this guy, he called me.
But he doesn't know that.
He called me on the radio yesterday, and he said, well, Trump lost the midterms. And I asked, we went back and forth a lot. If you listen, you heard this, but I'll just sum it up quickly. I said, well, who was speaker before the midterms? And he didn't want to say it because he knew where I was going. But I said, Nancy Pelosi, right? And then after the midterms, who was speaker? It was Kevin McCarthy, right? So if we lost, Nancy Pelosi would have been the speaker after the midterms, not a Republican.
Right.
And, we went back and forth for about 5 minutes. And he gets all his news and information from these liberal wackadoodle places. And he actually thought that the Democrats won the midterms. It was like the first time when I started pointing out and talk slower about, well, wait a minute, who was speaker before, who's speaker after? It was starting to click. Well, wait a minute, this thing I believed, Trump did win the midterms.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they literally
he was in
lie to your face. It is true propaganda, and it's bull, BS.
Yeah.
It is complete lies, and they all do it on that network. CNN's bad, but I do see they're not nearly as bad as MSNBC. I do see people on CNN. I mean, I remember there have been moments when they had elections with Dana Bash would give Trump a lot of credit. She would say he really knows how to reach the voter. They respect him. They feel he's in touch with them. They have moments of honesty, and they had an election panel on the other night with the Super Tuesday, and they had two guys there defending Trump. I couldn't believe it, and they were defending him very voraciously and very well. So they are trying to be more honest about their coverage sometimes and more middle of the road. MSNBC is pure brainwashing, and it's complete lies that they feed you. Thank God not that many people watch them, but please stay away from that network. My goodness.
Now, after the break, I found out something today about Governor Ron DeSantis. And this whole story that he's endorsed Trump and all this stuff, total BS. He is up to something. You will not want to miss this. This is insane. And no one's reporting this, but we're going to report it after the break. Now, I want to remind you guys that free shipping at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, continues, okay? It is site-wide. Free shipping on all items, no matter how large, no matter how small, with our promo code Kane at checkout. Plus, you get the special deal, right? Like I was telling you, the MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0 is 50% off, right? You get the 50% off plus free shipping. But that goes on every special. No matter what the special is, you get the special and free shipping. And that free shipping, that's a lot of savings, especially on the larger items or if you're buying a lot. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and load up. Because when you do that, not only are you getting great items from Mike Lindell and MyPillow, you're supporting this program and all of my other content I'm connected to, too, which includes my YouTube channel, radio show, the podcast here, everything. So it's promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, free shipping site-wide at MyPillow.com. We'll be right back.
Fashion makes a statement about your identity, your personal style, and it tells people who you are. When you're shopping for clothes for any occasion and incredible jewelry, there's only one place you need to shop, and that's FashionFeminina.com. FashionFeminina.com is where elegance meets contemporary style. When you visit the store, explore their stunning collection of activewear, blouses, dresses, denim, and jackets. FashionFeminina.com is your one-stop destination for every occasion. Work, travel, or a special night out. Find luxury jewelry to go with your clothing. They have exquisite rings, elegant earrings, and stunning necklaces that add a touch of glamour to any outfit. Also, check out their new arrivals so you can find the latest trends and inventory, as well as the must-have pieces. And right now, FashionFeminina.com is offering 10% off when you purchase 2 or more items. And they have free worldwide delivery, including in the United States. That's right, free shipping. Founded with a love of fashion and a vision for unique elegance, FashionFeminina.com has grown from a quaint boutique to a fashion and jewelry paradise. Start shopping right now at FashionFeminina.com and redefine your style today. You'll find great gifts too. FashionFeminina.com, where elegance and fashion unite. The new graphic novel from author Earl Tamura Morrow is now available on Amazon. Border Barrier. Set on a remote international moon base, Border Barrier takes you on a journey of scientific marvels and dark secrets. Join American theorist Dr. Virgil Jeevy as he embarks on a top-secret project that could alter the course of humanity. With the discovery of a mysterious substance, Virgil develops an AI program to unlock its secrets. But the moon base is not just a hub of discovery, it's a web of enigmas and potential dangers. In a place where allies and adversaries are indistinguishable, Virgil faces the ultimate test. Unraveling the truth behind the origin of the substance becomes a race against time, with the fate of mankind hanging in the balance. Border Barrier is a sci-fi mystery, a tale of intrigue and survival, where trust is a luxury and every decision could be the difference between salvation and catastrophe. Order your copy right now. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Border Barrier from author Earl Tamura Morrow. Available on Amazon. Journey to the heart of Texas with Echoes of Grace from author Roxy Curry. In this deeply personal memoir, the author shares her story of faith, challenges, and the transformative path to healing. Roxy's journey leads to unexpected places, but through it all, God's grace shines like a bright light, providing direction and comfort. Echoes of Grace is a testament that even when our choices deviate from the planned path, grace is a constant presence. In Echoes of Grace, the author unveils vulnerabilities and strength, and also celebrates self-discovery. It's about accepting imperfections, finding strength within, and embracing every aspect of who she is, the good, the tough, and everything in between. Echoes of Grace illuminates the incredible power of faith and God's enduring grace. Echoes of Grace from author Roxy Curry is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Echoes of Grace from author Roxy Curry. Order your copy right now on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Okay, so Ron DeSantis, I've been telling you guys he's been running a stealth campaign. and which was crazy. The week of the South Carolina primaries a couple weeks back, he spent like 3 or 4 days in South Carolina, and he was actually meeting with state Republicans. It was very, very bizarre. And Laura Loomer has discovered something, and I'm going to share it with you. This is Laura Loomer, and I'm going to read this to you from her Twitter X. Listen to this. Laura Loomer posted this. Looks like Ron DeSantis has quietly partnered with Mike Pence to undermine President Trump, and there's some details here.
Oh, my goodness.
This guy, Ron DeSantis, he has burned every bridge he's ever built.
He's really scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
I told you guys.
Oh, my goodness.
He is unelectable forever. I've been telling you this since he started running against Trump.
Mike Pence.
He is unelectable forever. So what's going on now is he's getting desperate. So listen to the rest of this. This is from Loomer. Looks like Ron DeSantis has quietly partnered with Mike Pence to undermine President Trump. Building America's Future is a new group managed and created by P2 Public Affairs, which has hired many of Ron DeSantis' former campaign and PAC staff. And their senior advisor is Mark Short. Okay, so now hold on to this. So just let me recap that, then we'll talk about this. So Ron DeSantis has partnered with this group. They've hired a bunch of his staffers. The senior advisor to the group, Mark Short, that name may sound vaguely familiar to some of you. Mike Short was Mike Pence's chief of staff, okay, when he was vice president. And after January 6th, Mark Short went publicly and started attacking Trump and blaming him for January 6th. So they've got this thing called Building USA Future. And Loomer says it's a combination of Ron DeSantis, Glenn Youngkin, and Mike Pence staffers and advisors.
Glenn Youngkin,
Ron DeSantis, and Mike Pence staffers are manning this group. Glenn Youngkin's wife donated to Nikki Haley's PAC. Yeah. And
so what is the point of this stupid group? What do they hope to accomplish?
They undermine Trump at every. This is the establishment. They got
how?
Well, because
Mike Pence is a real piece of garbage.
Youngkin's a little different. He's not as bad as, but Pence and DeSantis are done with. They're done. So they're grabbing onto any desperate thing they can get on. When his term in I guess we got 3 years left, right? We got 3 years left of Ron DeSantis as our governor, just under 3 years. When his term is up as governor, he's term limited out of office as governor. He can't run for anything and win. So he's desperately trying to find some fallback to make a living after his term is up. And I guess partnering up with Mike Pence is the way he's going to do it.
Every decision he makes is a stupid one. That's incredible to me because I'll have to tell you there's somebody in my family, I forgot to tell you, that I respect that is hoping DeSantis will be the VP for Trump. And I said to this person, what are you, nuts? And I had to set them straight. And they're like, oh, okay. And I think I got a little too angry at them. And I'm like, but I said, that would be a bad idea. He's back, doing press conferences and running the state. And I'm seeing him on the news, the local news, more and more doing things. He does good things. I don't understand this guy. He's so confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because he really has been a very good governor.
DeSantis.
And
for the most part.
Yeah, I'd say 90%. The policies, he just fired 25 professors at U of F that are in that DEI thing where they're pushing this,
race-based healthcare.
They're pushing this. They're trying to brainwash doctors, and there's a big medical school at U of F at Shands Medical, and they're trying to brainwash doctors that white people get treated better and to ignore the white people now that need help. So he is really tackling that and stopping that nonsense. And he just fired, like I said, 25 professors at University of Florida, which is a huge medical school here in Florida. It's U of F's a very good school. And he's doing that. He's really doing a lot of good things for the state, and he's right on point with that stuff. I don't understand why he can do things like that. And at the same time, make such stupid decisions like running against Trump. And he's confusing to me.
And now
he's perplexing.
Getting in business with Mike Pence.
And this is another bad decision.
Mike Pence, getting in business with Mike Pence, who's the most despised person in Republican voting circles.
He's like a Benedict Arnold.
He's the worst.
I mean, he's a complete traitor. Here you got a guy that was friends with Trump, worked with Trump, was constantly promoting Trump, saying wonderful things about Trump. He is like a Benedict Arnold, and now he's like a complete traitor. He's totally turned his back on
what
him.
DeSantis has done, really, in many ways, is almost like switch parties. I mean, it's that big of a to go and start partnering up in any way, shape, or form in an organization with Mike Pence.
What do you think DeSantis
crazy.
is thinking his future holds for him? I think he's going to run for president again in 2028. I've said that, and I still think that's going to happen. So he needs to be in line with these rhinos. You know what I mean? He needs to be in good graces with these rhinos because he needs them. But whether they're going to back him, and Nikki Haley, she'll run again too. They're young. You're going to see them in 2028 running against each other, I can promise you, and maybe even Vivek.
Yeah.
But whoever Trump chooses as his VP, and I have two I'd like, Noam, but I like Abbott better. And I know a lot of people have issues with Abbott, but let me tell you something, and they even said this when I was watching the election coverage. Jake Tapper, I couldn't believe it, even said that Greg Abbott is responsible for this turnaround with people's attitudes about the border, and he said the things he has done has really helped Trump with the border issue. And he said the moving people to different cities has been a game changer for Trump. And he's right. And I think he'd be a great VP and then a president. But
yeah. Now I wanted to talk just for a minute about this lady Senator Britt that did the response to the State of the Union. It was weird. Okay, it was weird. She did it in her commercial, and I went online to try to find because I don't know if I've ever heard of her before. She's vaguely familiar, but
I never have.
I wanted to see what she sounded like normally, and it was very difficult because everything online was the speech. But I found a campaign commercial. She made a campaign commercial grocery shopping with her husband and kids. And, she was talking about all the problems.
Who is she? I mean,
she's a senator.
From where?
I want to say Louisiana off the top of my head. Maybe wrong about Louisiana, but it just popped in my mind. It's a southern state, I'm pretty sure.
State senator or?
No, United States senator.
That's crazy.
And she was checking out at the grocery store, and this is in the commercial, and she was talking about all the issues and everything else. And then her husband, who's one of these, she's 42. Her husband is one of these millennials one of these millennial men that spends half the day on the beard.
Yeah, he grooms himself a lot.
And so she's talking to the camera while she's checking out at the grocery store. And then her husband says, he's got this really a stereotypical Southern accent. When she starts talking like that, that means something's going to get done. And it was like Larry the Cable Guy, talking. And it was just, she's weird.
She's pretty though.
But
she's strange.
The thing about a couple things with Katie Britt and the response to the State of the Union. 90% of the time, whoever does the response to the State of the Union somehow screws it up.
Yep.
Bobby Jindal, who was going to be the next big Republican, did the response to Obama's first State of the Union. I don't think we've seen him since. It was so bad.
I would never do it if I was a politician.
Marco Rubio got really dried mouth and started drinking water from this bottle, and he almost destroyed his political career with that. It took him years to come back from it. There was one woman who did it years ago, and they've always been disastrous. But this Katie Britt, who started talking like some sultry like phone sex operator or something, it was very bizarre.
There's two things I can't stand that women do: the smiling while talking. Speaking of that woman on CNN, she's gone. And ever the smile talker and that whisper talking. I cannot. I've got a very deep.
Gloria Bolger.
That's it. I got a very deep, loud voice. I know. I've always had a loud voice, and I even had a nickname in college referring that. I won't even tell you what it was because it was embarrassing. In my sorority, I had two nicknames, and this was one because I have a very deep, loud. I always have since I was a kid. My dad used to tell me I should be on Broadway because I had such a booming voice. But anyway, I can't stand when women talk in that whispery, tone, like it's to me so Meghan Markle talks like that. It's so condescending and fake. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You'll see what I mean if you watch that response. I cannot stand when women talk like that. It absolutely drives me up
the
a wall.
thing with Katie Britt, okay, a couple things about her. I know next to nothing about her. Nobody else does either because she's new on the scene. The thing about it is,
now everybody knows
she's young and she's not a polished person, and a politician at the national level, and she, like happened with Marco Rubio, so she got elevated to a national level that she's not ready for yet. And the way she was talking, it wasn't just weird. Let's face it. It was like sexual because she's good for a senator. She's really good looking, right? Most senators don't look like her.
She's a Republican, right? I mean, they're all good.
And she's for a senator, she's very good looking and very young, right?
Yeah, she's pretty.
And then she starts talking that way, and immediately on X, they're saying she sounds like an OnlyFans girl, and all this stuff, and
it looks like one too.
And I give her a break.
Well, why do you think she normally? To me, it looked like she had really rehearsed and was acting and playing a part instead of just being herself.
Yeah.
Like Sarah Huckabee, when she talks, I feel like she's genuine, or Carrie Lake or something. You know what I mean? Like they're genuine, and that's just who they are. This to me felt like she was doing a put on.
Yeah,
playing a part. It was weird.
And she was in her kitchen and trying to be like Miss Housewife or something, and it was bad. It's bad. She's gonna have a hard time recovering from it.
Yeah, but everybody knows who she is now, and
that's true.
That's how it works, and people we're talking about her, and I'd never heard of her before.
But let me tell
you, like that one woman who would talked at the prayer breakfast about just having sex with her boyfriend.
Yeah, that was bad.
Everybody now she's on TV all the damn time.
Nancy Mace.
Yeah, I mean, she's really elevated. That's how it works in America.
That was really weird when Nancy Mace did. But this thing with Britt, you look at Kamala was a senator. You look at Dianne Feinstein, who just passed away, and all this stuff. However weird Katie Britt was, and I agree with you, it was very just strange. Yeah. I would rather have women senators like that than like Dianne Feinstein.
Well, of course. That's what really matters.
Or Kamala Harris or Mitt Romney. Yeah. So what? Give the girl a break. But she may not be in the Trump circles too much unless she does something really good, because Trump doesn't like people that choke when they get a big chance like that.
That's true.
But my recommendation would be never, never, never do the response to the State of the Union.
I agree.
It's only going to be a disaster. No one watches it unless you mess up and make a fool out of yourself.
But it's a good way to get people to talk about you, but I think there's better ways.
Well, I had heard that it was supposed to be Vivek. And
that would have been good.
And some people didn't want him to do it for whatever reason. And Mitch McConnell, this was the story. Mitch McConnell got them to pull out Vivek and plug Katie Britt in. And I'm wondering,
that's very interesting.
I'm wondering if Mitch McConnell did that to screw her over, because he knows how weird she is when she talks.
Or to screw something.
But I mean, please. You think,
Brian, these guys have their ideas.
I don't think Katie Britt's going to do anything.
I'm not saying her. I'm saying him.
Yeah.
These guys have their ideas.
Now, there is a high-profile Republican who's famous, who is known for many things, but one of their things that they're known for is to be an advocate against anything involving gays and gay rights. And today, I heard from a pretty credible source. Not enough to.
Is this Michael Knowles?
I'm not going to say who this is, but I heard.
That's his thing.
It's not him. No. It's not Michael Knowles. I heard from a very credible source that this anti. I'm not.
You know who it is.
I'll tell you, but not on the show. I'm not saying they're anti-gay, but they're labeled as an anti-gay Republican. That's pretty well known that they're gay.
Of course, that's how it always is.
And
it's a deflection,
and there's some evidence to it. And I'm not going to tell you the name. All
the guy bullies in high school, were gay.
Well,
it's to deflect off their homosexual tendencies.
The source that I heard it from, it is credible, and they do have two pieces of evidence.
Oh boy, I wish you could spill
And
it.
I could,
Then do
but I'm
it.
choosing not to.
Well, that's a mistake.
Because I need a little bit more before I say it.
So let's call this a teaser and a preview of maybe something down the road you'll be able to review.
Well, you know, I think the reason that I was given this information is someone's trying to get me to break it.
Oh,
and
that's how it works.
And I need more information before I would publicly say that this person is gay.
Well, can't you just say it and say say it's like suspected?
Oh, they're suspected, and the two things that
we're just not sure.
The two pieces of evidence are pretty credible.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have very good gaydar, as Brian will tell you, very good. So if you tell me who it is, I will let you know if they're gay or not.
You know, I know somebody, many people are. I'm going to hear this now, right? Because anytime I do something like this, they say, I'm going to hear this from people. Well, if you're not going to say who it is, why even mention it?
Right.
It's because I want to get it off my chest. I was
okay. Why don't we take a break and you tell me, and I'll tell the audience.
No. I came across this morning. I forgot to tell you today,
yeah,
Kathy,
I'm dying to
I was
know
busy
now.
doing things around the house.
Give me a hint.
No hints.
Male or female?
No, it's a man. It's a man.
I think I know who it is.
No, I don't think you'll.
I think I know who it is.
No, I don't think you do.
What do they do? They're a talk show host?
No, I'm not saying.
They're a politician.
I'm not saying anything. But the reason I'm bringing it up, even though I'm not telling you, is so I can get some of it off my chest. Because I'd like to tell you.
It's killing you.
In fact, I'm not even going to tell. I'm going to tell what I'm telling you. I'm going to tell Steve Kane, but I'm not going to tell him who it is because I don't.
Well, you better tell me who it is.
I don't think he'll be able to control himself,
or you won't be sleeping in the bedroom tonight.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you during the break. But
Steve, he's got
when more information comes out, I would be more comfortable saying it. I need a little more than I was given.
Okay, so let's tell the audience then that we will tell you. Just not quite yet, because you can't put that out there, dangle that carrot, and then never tell them. So
when more information is
as we find out, we'll let you know more.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people are probably trying to guess, and maybe you've guessed. I'm not going to let you know. Now, you haven't, Kathy. It's not.
You don't know who I'm thinking.
No, you said Michael. It is not Michael.
No,
Knowles.
I got somebody else in my head.
It is not Michael Knowles, but. I know I probably shouldn't mention it, and it's going to drive people mad.
Steven Crowder.
I'm not going to tell you who.
Okay, there you go.
I'm not going to tell you who. No, I'm not, and I'm not going to say other than Michael Knowles, it's not him. I'm not going to say it's not this person. It's not that person.
Can't be Ben Shapiro.
I'm not going to say who it is or isn't.
Oh my gosh. Well, this will be good. I'm dying to know.
Yeah. No.
See, I threw a couple names out there, guys.
No, I'm not gonna. I mean, but I will ask you guys.
Well, I know it's not you. I mean, I know that from.
No, I would need more evidence, Kathy.
For so long.
I would need more evidence. If it was me, I would have all the evidence. I would know, right? I would need more evidence.
And I would think I would know too.
But, I know some of you be upset with me because I'm not saying.
Yes.
But I'd like you guys to tell me yes or no. Do you think I'm doing the right thing by not being the first person to go public with it? Because most people.
There's nothing wrong with breaking news, and
need
what
more
are you
evidence.
accusing? You're not accusing them of doing anything. This isn't the 50s.
I know.
Illegal. It's no big deal. It's just an interesting fact.
This is what's happened. Even though the information comes from conservative circles, while I don't know, my guess would be that the original source of the material is from the left, and they want to destroy this person. And
this is how they destroy somebody. I thought they were all pro-gay.
Not if you're not if you're one of the labeled anti-gay Republicans. Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. I can't tell you who it is.
I'm dying to know.
If I had a little bit more, I would say.
So let's see if we get some more info here on.
But I'll tell you during the break, and then I'll tell you the info you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this person put themselves in that position. But
my goodness.
Yeah. Well,
let's take a break now because I'm dying to know.
Yeah, well, we will. Now, listen, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. All right, I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
The new book from author Roxy Curry is now available on Amazon. Should I Stay or Should I Go? Your faith-based guide to overcoming narcissistic relationships. Guided by her unwavering light of faith and personal wisdom, the author's goal for this book is to help you navigate the confusion and pain caused by covert narcissists, especially within the context of Christian values. Author Roxy Curry draws from her personal struggles, offering hard-earned insights that empower readers to make pivotal choices between enduring the storm or seeking a new beginning. In Should I Stay or Should I Go? Perseverance, faith, and actionable advice converge to guide you through the challenges of a narcissistic relationship. In this must-read book, you'll learn how to identify the imperceptible chains that narcissists craft through manipulation and their force of personality, as well as how these bonds can be shattered by the hammers of prayer, self-reflection, and empowered courage. Author Roxy Curry's first book, Echoes of Grace, was her memoir that chronicled her personal struggles and successes. At its heart lies a complex relationship with Victor, testing her beliefs and resilience. Through her unwavering faith, she emerged with a renewed sense of self and a profound understanding of God's grace. Should I Stay or Should I Go? Your faith-based guide to overcoming narcissistic relationships from author Roxy Curry is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Order your copy right now and reclaim your faith, your courage, and your self-worth. Why make the sky the limit when you can reach for the stars? Because when you live miles beneath the Earth's crust, there's only one way to go, up. High school author Kamina Sethna introduces you to the first of many upcoming novels. As the Earth lay dreaming, 300 million years in the future, the world would be practically unrecognizable to us. Due to the gradual process of plate tectonics, all the continents have merged back together into a single supercontinent called Neopangea. Likewise, humanity has now evolved to live beneath the Earth's crust. For a while now, humans have lived deep into the Earth, growing fully accustomed to underground life. But one question remains: what lies beyond? What is there to be found, not just above the surface, but above the horizon? What treasures await humanity within the little lights in the sky, which we call planets and stars? It is indeed an intriguing mystery, but perhaps only the most daring of adventurers are willing to seek answers. Order your copy of As the Earth Lay Dreaming from author Kamina Sethna on Amazon, and be sure to visit Kamina's official website, KeinzurukOfficial.com. That's KeinzurUck official.com. A new revolution in fictional storytelling is here, and this is where it begins. Take an electrifying journey with the Continuum series from author Jenna Ryan. In Book 1, The Channeler, A Future Forewarned, Caleb Swift grapples with an extraordinary gift and the haunting visions that come with it. He felt as if he was stuck in an endless nightmare, watching a terrible future, feeling powerless to change it. Or was he? Caleb's complex life takes a turn when he's faced with the choice to embrace his supernatural abilities or live an ordinary, uncomplicated life. Can he ignore the visions and the girl who needs him? In Book 2, The Steel Renegade, A Future Unknown, Caleb confronts tragedy, secrets, and a forewarning that could alter the fate of both human and inhuman kind. He needs to become stronger, he needs to fight harder, and he'll do whatever it takes. As past, present, and future collide, the truth surfaces, uncovering a mystery where past shape a better future. If you're a fan of urban fiction, science fiction, romance, adult fiction, or young adult fiction exploring themes of magic, clairvoyance, angels, and demons, then author Jenna Ryan's Continuum series is perfect for you. Both books in the series are available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and the author's website, JennaRyanInc.com. Order both books in the Continuum series right now from author Jenna Ryan. Take a magical journey with your child with the new book from mom and author Deepali Gupta, The Princess Knight Adventures, A Journey Beyond Dreams. Available on Amazon. The Princess Knight Adventures, A Journey Beyond Dreams brings the power of imagination to life. Join Piku, a young girl with a heart full of courage, as she ventures into her dreams to rescue a princess from the clutches of an octopus. With her mother's encouragement, she transforms into a brave princess knight, proving that within every child lies a hero ready to face their fears. This book teaches children the strength of imagination and the courage to confront their nightmares. Inspired by the timeless tales of friendship, love, kindness, and bravery, author Deepali Gupta, fueled by adventures with her daughter and the joy of creating castles, brings to life a story that will enchant and inspire young readers. The Princess Knight Adventures, A Journey Beyond Dreams, will instill confidence, strength, and a sense of uniqueness in every young reader. Empower our young heroes to triumph over any obstacle with The Princess Knight Adventures, A Journey Beyond Dreams. Available on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. This book is also perfect for teachers for their classroom reading collection. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
We're back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. I meant to play this in the first segment. We were talking about Joe Scarborough, and I forgot because this is another clip from Joe Scarborough. You know, obviously, I don't watch Morning Joe because I'm on the air at that time, right? You know, but I saw some clips on Twitter. Sometimes I call it Twitter. Sometimes I call it X. Sometimes I call it Twitter X, you know, guys. Oh, well, let me play the clip, then we'll get into the other stuff. But I meant to play this in the first segment. It's Morning Joe with some other liberal jerks and Jen Psaki.
American.
Crazy.
These are, helping kids get a leg up. I mean, these are moments which should be bipartisan. And if you're watching in public, you're first wondering, who's Mike Johnson? Why does he have a weird look on his face? But also, why are half of the people in there sitting down when, hey, I'm not sure I like Joe Biden, but that seems pretty good.
You don't like expanding, you don't like saying every third grader should learn to read.
Yeah,
that we should expand tutoring. Last I checked, the Party of Family Values, which is why Katie Britt was sitting in a kitchen, they couldn't stand up. Mike Johnson couldn't applaud. Yeah, let's make sure every American kid can read.
And that was why she was sitting in the kitchen. Even more basic things, too. I mean, yes, they should be standing for that. But even more basic things, being against political violence, you can't stand for that.
Right.
For curing cancer, for stopping Vladimir Putin from invading the rest of Europe. They couldn't stand up.
Well, let's be honest. They shouldn't stand for those things because those things are not what their movement is about anymore. They are actually avowedly against reading. They're banning books. And if the more people...
Yes, we're against reading. We're banning books. All lies.
...do read and find out the truth about the world, the worse their movement would do.
Yeah.
They're not for defeating Putin in Europe. So why should they stand for it? They're for Putinism. They're not for defending democracy at home. They're for insurrection. So I actually think their standing was incredibly well coordinated with their ideological commitments.
Okay. Now, this whole thing, of course, we're not against reading.
It's absurd. They think we're all uneducated.
We're not,
idiots.
Yeah, and we're not banning books. There have been books that have been deemed too sexual in nature for public schools that are not being allowed under the approved curriculum books. You know,
I'm sorry if we don't let books in the library of two guys giving each other BJs. I'm sorry if they're not allowed in a school.
But, that's not banning books,
No, these are sick
okay?
people.
I mean, that's like saying, well, you can't have Playboy in school, so you're banning magazines.
Exactly.
I mean, there are books that are not appropriate for children that are not being permitted in public schools. That's not banning books. Banning books, when they talk about book burning, the Nazis, that kind of stuff, they actually, like in China, they actually outlaw everywhere. They ban certain books.
If you can buy a book on Amazon or go to the local public library and get it, or go to Barnes & Noble and buy it for yourself, then the book is not banned.
That's correct.
Okay? The book is not banned. You're not going to put Catcher in the Rye in an elementary school library. It's just too elevated for those kids, and it's there's sexual content and things like that. When you have when I used to teach, we had a huge library at my school, and I remember I took out the movie The Devil's Something with Kirsten Dunst.
The Devil's Arithmetic.
The Devil's Arithmetic. I'd never seen it before, but it was Holocaust month, and we had read a few things on the Holocaust. So I said, "Oh, let me get this movie," and I played it. I taught 7th grade, and I played it in the first period. There was nudity, full frontal. I immediately women full frontal the entire thing when they were in the shower. I couldn't believe it. I turned it off. All the kids got all excited. I turned it off. I said, no, we're not watching that anymore. And I went to the librarian during my lunch break, who was a friend of mine, and I said, you should not have this in this library. And she said, why? I said, there is full frontal nudity in this movie. The book is fine, but I said, this is not appropriate for middle school children. And but I didn't make a big deal about it, but I just said, I just letting you know. She probably just stuck it right back on the shelf. But there are certain things that are just, I didn't suggest, that doesn't mean the movie should be banned. No. You could rent it, go on Prime Video.
Yeah, that's not banning a movie.
That's not banning. You're not banning a book. They use these terms, they speak in such hyperboles because they like to label you and frighten people, and they like to feel they're better than you.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there challenging them, saying, well, the books really aren't banned because I can go on Amazon and buy the damn book for my kid if I wanted to. We bought Emily books that we thought were appropriate for her when she loved to read. The Geronimo Stilton books, she read all those, the Little House on the Prairie, Nancy Drew, all this stuff. We bought books for her. But if there was a book at her school library that she wanted to read and she said, well, Mom, they don't have it here, I would say, well, they probably, let's see if this is appropriate for you. Well, it's just ridiculous.
This segment, though, on MSNBC that, why Republicans didn't stand for Biden at all.
I wouldn't stand for anything he says.
Donald Trump, in one of his State of the Unions, he tricked AOC and the squad to stand and applaud for him. It was the first year that they wore the white, and President Trump said, during my presidency, we've seen more women in Congress than ever in history. And AOC and all the Democrats got up and applauded Trump. He tricked them. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Would you stand for anything Biden said?
I would not have even been there. I wouldn't have been able to sit there.
I wouldn't stand for
now,
anything
with that being said, Marjorie Taylor Greene going there was a good thing. But Joe Biden, is such a, and I know people say all the presidents are corrupt. That's not true. Donald Trump's not corrupt. But, and Joe Biden, without question, is the most corrupt person to ever be president of the United States, at least in my lifetime. And just because John Gotti gets up there and says, I want kids to be able to read by third grade or something, you don't applaud John Gotti because John Gotti says something that you agree with, right?
They
on one
weren't
thing.
Exactly. They weren't not standing for what he was saying. They weren't standing because of who he is.
That's right.
They were not going to stand for Joe Biden. It has nothing to do with what he was saying. Of course, we want our children to read.
And we have no respect for him.
And we like to read. You're reading that book, Blood Money. You like to read about Biden and the crime and the China connection. I'm reading Persuasion by Jane Austen right now. I read 2 or 3 books at a time. I love reading. We're not against reading. We're against Biden. That's what it's about. And maybe they don't realize that, or maybe they do. But like I said, when you watch MSNBC, you get the feeling that what they say on TV is exactly what they talk about at their dinner parties. It's like there's no change. Whatever they say on television, it's like they're sitting around the dinner table and that's the discussion they're having.
That's right.
They don't even consider the audience or consider the weight of what they're saying. They're just having their normal friendly discussion. And and oftentimes they expose their complete disdain for the average American. Like when they were laughing about the border thing, Rachel Maddow forgot where she was, I think, for a minute and was like, oh, wait, I'm on TV. There's people watching me. I'm not in my own home with my girlfriend sitting here laughing at the
during
American
a commercial
people.
break.
Yeah, exactly. They don't make that distinction of, I got to be professional here. I'm on television. I have a responsibility. They just go on TV and spew the same BS that they're spewing at their cocktail parties in the Hamptons.
This thing about not standing for Biden, as an example, this past week it came out that Fannie Willis met with Kamala Harris months before the indictment of Trump.
Interesting.
Her boy toy gigolo met with Trump with Biden's White House counsel before.
They're all connected.
So Joe Biden is behind this whole lawfare thing that's going on. They've arrested President Trump. He's the leader of the political opposition. He is the political opposition leader, Donald Trump. They've arrested him more than once, got the mugshot and everything. Mm-hmm. The way Biden is carrying himself is like Putin. So when you have the leader of this lawfare who's persecuting the leader of the political opposition, you don't stand up for him because he says he wants kids in the third grade to be able to read. Okay, and that's what's going on here, and that's why they don't stand up. So this is absolutely amazing. This very bizarre woke woman made this video listing all the reasons.
Oh, this is so good.
Not to vote for Donald Trump, and in fact, she says that they're the most terrifying reasons that you should not vote for Trump. And they're actually the reasons you should be voting for Trump.
It's like a campaign ad for Trump.
It should be.
You couldn't have written a better one.
President Trump should take this. It's gone viral. He should take this and make this his new campaign.
It's really good.
Yeah, so keep in mind, this is a liberal wokester giving you reasons to not vote for Trump. Okay?
And here are the first 15 promises he has made if he is reelected. You may have heard of Project 2025, but this is from Agenda 47. And you can read all of these on his website. First, he promises...
Agenda 47, by the way, is when Trump talks about the American Academy to teach kids about America again.
Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, and the greatness of America.
Yeah.
He will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. He will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide. He will put prayer back into school, and he will criminalize any race-based advantage programs. He will end the Affordable Care Act. He will ban gender-affirming care for adults and children, and he will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care, which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care except for Viagra and Cialis. Those will still be available. He will propose a constitutional amendment that gives a term limit to Congress. He will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family and any of his adversaries or political rivals. He will immediately pardon all of the January 6thers, and he will create a task force to investigate anyone who arrested, charged, or imprisoned a January 6er. He will increase the penalties for underage criminal offenders, strengthen immunity for police officers, and deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities. On day one, he will reassess our participation in NATO and says that every European country needs to pay the United States for protection. He will also restore the wonderful travel ban for Muslims coming to America. He will build freedom cities. This is 10 new cities built on federal land. He will award them to areas with the best development proposals, and he will prioritize moving young families to these freedom cities. He will kill all e-vehicles and e-vehicle legislation, seeking to replace that with the development of a flying car. He believes that we could create a car that vertically takes off. He will remove all of the limits on American natural gas exports and drill baby drill for oil domestically. He will impose a tariff of up to 60% on Chinese imports. He will extend the 2017 tax cuts and drop the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%. He will push Congress to pass legislation that would give every American the right to concealed carry anywhere at any time. And he will revoke any gun restrictions or legislation that seeks to inhibit people's ability to own guns that's been passed in the last several years. He will demand that Europe pay back all the money we gave Ukraine, and then he will use all of that money to recruit for the American military. And he will take billions and billions of dollars from private university endowments by taxing, fining, and suing the universities. He specifically names Harvard in this one. And then he will use that money to create the American Academy. It is a free online college that will be free of wokeness that he will force employers to recognize as a bachelor's degree equivalent. So that's Agenda 47.
Love it. Ooh, I like Agenda 47.
You know what I
love that.
feel like with this? I feel like I'm being punked. I'm feeling like this woman's MAGA. She's pretending to be woke because those all sound like good reasons to vote Trump to me.
The one thing I don't agree with is I don't think Trump has ever said cars can fly. Has he ever said that? That's never going to happen.
I am sure there are cars that can.
Oh, come
why
on.
would you?
That's never going to happen.
I'm sure they exist.
No.
Now I want to take a moment to think.
I don't think Trump's ever said that. So but everything else he has mentioned, and it's all good stuff.
I think he has talked about flying cars. Actually, now that you say it, it seems familiar. I don't see why that's a crazy idea. You ever see Blade Runner? I'd love to have a flying car.
You know,
Flying cars are cool. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be very cool. I just can't see it ever happening. But
no, sure,
whatever.
I'm sure they exist already. They probably have them like in Abu Dhabi or something. Yeah, Qatar. I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much, everyone. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you're going to hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, and George. These are our top Patreon supporters. Now, if you'd like to support the show by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. So go and check it out. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of the endless search for affordable contact lenses? Well, your search is over. Say hello to LoveMyContacts.com, where premium vision meets unbeatable prices. LoveMyContacts.com isn't just any contact lens retailer. Love My Contacts are powered by real optometrists and vision experts. Yes, that's right. Experts who know eyes and care about yours, ensuring you get the best fit from brands you trust, like AccuView, Bausch & Lomb, Alcon, and CooperVision. And guess what? With LoveMyContacts.com's easy subscription service, forget about running low on contacts ever again. Just set it, forget it, and let your lenses come to you. Don't have your prescription handy? No problem. LoveMyContacts.com will retrieve it from your doctor's office, making your experience as seamless as possible. They have the most popular contacts at the best prices too, like AccuView Oasis, the Infuse, and Dailies. It's time to experience the LoveMyContacts.com difference. Visit the site right now, LoveMyContacts.com, and step into a world where quality meets convenience at prices you'll love. LoveMyContacts.com. Have you dreamed of transforming your old, outdated kitchen into a modern and vibrant one? You can do just that with Cabinet Makeover Pro, located in Miami. And don't worry about a huge price tag for new kitchen cabinets, because Cabinet Makeover Pro specializes in refacing your existing cabinets. They'll bring new life to your kitchen without breaking the bank. The results? A stunning transformation that will make your kitchen look brand new. Cabinet Makeover Pro are experts in breathing new life into your space. Their focus is on renovating and enhancing existing cabinets in kitchens, bathrooms, or any area in need of a facelift. They do everything too, from painting and changing hardware to new doors and handles. They'll give those old cabinets a modern and functional appearance. Cabinet Makeover Pro is committed to quality, attention to detail, and tailoring solutions to your specific needs. Visit their website, CabinetMakeoverPro.com. View their before and after photos. You will be impressed. Ready to transform your kitchen? Schedule your free consultation right now at CabinetMakeoverPro.com or call them directly, 786-805-3531. 786-805-3531. You can also follow them on Instagram at Cabinet Makeover Pro. Cabinet Makeover Pro, experienced, licensed, insured, and turning dreams into stunning kitchen realities. CabinetMakeoverPro.com. Awaken your senses and indulge in the rich aroma of freshly brewed perfection each and every day with the Gypsy Owl. The Gypsy Owl is your passport to a world of exceptional coffee and gourmet teas. You'll be immersed in the goodness of their organic blends. They're meticulously roasted and crafted to elevate your coffee experience beyond the ordinary. When you join the Gypsy Owl subscription service, you'll save 15% off every order. You can have your favorite brew delivered to your doorstep each and every month. You'll never run out of your daily pick-me-up. You can choose from their selection of coffee or teas. Subscribe today. Savor the joy of a freshly brewed cup, hassle-free, and at a 15% savings. And if you're a business owner, the Gypsy Owl can help you too. Whether you're a company looking for premium coffee at great prices or a restaurant seeking quality, the Gypsy Owl have you covered. If you have a large event coming up at a huge venue, no problem. The Gypsy Owl offers coffees in sizes from 12 ounces to 12 pounds. At the Gypsy Owl, well. Quality is their priority. They roast the beans the day you order, allowing the beans to rest before locking in those exquisite flavors, ensuring that you notice the difference. Their organic coffee is 100% free from artificial substances, especially pesticides and herbicides. Order your coffee and tea right now at thegypsyowl.myshopify.com. Savor the journey, sip by sip. thegypsyowl.myshopify.com. Are you truly living the life you've always dreamed of? Or do past traumas hold you back from achieving your fullest potential? You're not alone. Discover the support and guidance you need on the Redhead Reveal podcast with Jen Pinkerton. Jen Pinkerton is a seasoned psychotherapist, coach, and sexologist. She's on a mission to foster deeper connections in your relationships. She explores the intricate worlds of attachment, inner child work, and trauma, revealing their profound impact on our well-being and our ability to flourish. Join the movement towards healing, understanding, and thriving in your personal and professional relationships. Don't let another day pass you by, leaving you feeling disconnected. Add Redhead Reveal with Jen Pinkerton to your podcast playlist right now. Available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can tune in too. Your journey to a more connected and fulfilled life starts right now. Redhead Reveal on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
So Robert De Niro's back and trashing Trump. He was on Real Time with Bill Maher. And, you know, I think this was always true. I just didn't realize it. And then when he started trashing Trump during the first campaign, it became more obvious. Robert De Niro is one of the most overrated actors in the history of American film.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
He's the same in everything. I do like, you know, this really burns me because his anti-Trump stuff, I can't watch his stuff like I used to. And there's one movie that I love, Michael Mann, Heat.
I know, that's your favorite
I
movie.
love Heat. It's got...
You haven't watched that in a while. You used to watch it like every week.
Yeah, well, because
Val
he started
Kilmer.
trashing Trump. It's Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, that Amy Brennan girl is in it.
Yeah.
Who else is in it? A lot of people are in it.
I love Val Kilmer.
I love Heat. I love that. Michael Mann, who did Miami Vice, did it. And I used to watch that movie like all the time.
Yeah.
I watched Heat like it was like Howard Hughes watched Ice Station Zebra. They said he used to watch that like every day.
Why? I mean, that's a good movie. I like Rock Hudson, but
Ice Station Zebra is pretty overrated.
It's a good, it's not one I'd watch over and over again.
But Robert De Niro is trashing Trump again. He was on Bill Maher. I saw about 10 minutes of that Dirty Grandpa on TV.
God. Awful.
I could not believe
he's a total pig.
You know, when
I think he was playing himself.
I think in Dirty Grandpa, I don't think there was a script. I think it was like a reality show, and they just said it was a movie. The things that he said and did in that movie,
the sad thing is
vile.
His grandson died from fentanyl.
Yes,
and if Trump, I'm convinced of this. If Trump was president now, I believe his grandson would be alive.
Oh yeah,
and he is too stupid.
Oh yeah,
and blinded by his Trump hate to even see that. He has a sick obsession. For some reason, Donald Trump really, really triggers this man. I mean, look at Michael Rappaport, okay? Here's a guy who was equally triggered by Trump in the beginning.
Yeah.
Even he has come to realize the truth and has woken up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Robert, I mean, even he has woken up from his Trump derangement and been like, you know what? And admits it. I respect him for that. I'm like, you know what? He's not my favorite actor by far, but at least the guy can go online and admit I was wrong. And he's going to vote for Trump now. It's crazy.
Well,
De Niro is so.
My guess with De Niro,
there's something personal. It's personal with him.
There's one of two possibilities.
Yeah, it's too personal with him.
There's one of two possibilities with De Niro. You know, De Niro's a New York guy. He's got that Tribeca thing going on.
Yeah.
So he may have had some personal interactions with Trump in New York where he felt he didn't get treated like Robert De Niro should be treated.
Something personal that happened.
Or the other possibility is everyone knows that Robert De Niro is into black women. You know, that's his thing. And maybe he's, you know, his liberal girlfriends and everything are whispering in his ear about Trump. But there was an actor.
I think it's more of the first. I think something personal happened with him in New York. Maybe he didn't know. Who knows?
He's a jerk. There's an actor that is in Oppenheimer. He's got a smaller role in Oppenheimer, and I saw him interviewed, and he was talking about De Niro.
Who is it?
And he's not a famous guy. I don't know his name. He's a character actor. He's in like 3 scenes in Oppenheimer, and I saw this interview with him. He's one of those guys you recognize, but you don't know his name. One of those guys. And he said that he was a judge at a film festival with De Niro, right? Mm. And he had some interactions with him. And his first interaction with De Niro is he was at a party at a director's apartment in New York. He left the party, and Robert De Niro was in the hallway. He lived across the hall. Robert De Niro went into his apartment, shut the door, and he had little kids at the time. They were out in the hallway alone, and one of them was getting into the elevator. So this actor that's in Oppenheimer, he got into the elevator with the kid and went to the bellman and said to the bellman, the bellman knew the kids and said, "This is, Robert De Niro's, kids." They got left when he went in the house.
Kids, I guess.
So they may be his kids. You know how these guys are.
Oh, that's true.
So the bellman took the kids to his house, and that was kind of, Robert De Niro left his kids. They could have wandered the streets of New York. And then he was a judge years later in this film festival with Robert De Niro, and it was at a hotel. And the event's over, and he goes to the elevator, and Robert De Niro walks up and is waiting for the elevator. And he starts talking to him and tells him this thing about his kids, years ago. Mm-hmm. They're judging. They're on the judge panel together on a film festival. It's like 3 or 4 judges, right? So he starts telling De Niro the story about the kid getting in the elevator. He said De Niro didn't say a word to him. He looked at him and then took the stairs.
He seems like
he's a monster.
Yeah, he does not seem like a nice person.
Let me read this story. This is what happened on Real Time with Bill Maher. De Niro launched into another foul-mouthed rant about Trump on Bill Maher's show on HBO. He says Trump supporters want to F with people. The 80-year-old acting icon blasted Trump as a total monster during his appearance on Friday night's edition of HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I'd never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him.
Well, first of all, he's not tall enough by about 1.5 feet.
No, nothing at all. Nothing redeemable in him at all, De Niro said. De Niro has bashed Trump. Remember he said he wanted to punch Trump and all this stuff.
Yeah.
The thing about
Trump would squash him like a bug.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Robert De Niro is not even a movie star anymore.
No.
Really?
No.
I mean, if he was, he wouldn't be doing Dirty Grandpa, right?
And, the only reason he really became big was because he was all in with Scorsese. And Casino was good. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
And Goodfellas, another great movie. And he happens to be very good at playing gangsters because he basically is one. He's like Frank Sinatra to me, but without the singing talent. You know what I mean? Frank Sinatra, who was good in From Here to Eternity, but he was kind of like a gangster himself and could play those parts well. But I like Sinatra better than De Niro, though, for sure. But he plays himself. He's a thug. And I like I said, he's got a personal beef with Trump. Mm-hmm. He's really gotten under his skin.
Oh, yes.
To the point where it's an itch he can't scratch. It drives him nuts.
Oh, yeah.
He probably thinks about him and talks about him, dreams about him constantly. He's obsessed with him. Time. What did Bill Maher say to him? Did Bill Maher, what was his, he probably kissed his butt like he does with all these actors.
Robert De Niro. Yeah.
Bill Maher, he plays both sides. He's a very intelligent, reasonable man. But when he gets an actor on there, he just gets all goofy and stupid
Robert De Niro
kisses their ass.
Especially. Now, this is a very strange world that we are in. And I saw this story today, and it's just such a strange story. Lesbian couple give birth to each other's sons.
What?
Yeah. The mothers had their, they gave birth to each other's sons
this world is so messed up.
Through in vitro fertilization.
This world is so messed up.
It says here, the babies were born to the lesbian couple via IVF.
Well, why didn't they implant their own eggs in their own body?
Maybe they'll tell us. Elvis, that's one of the sons, was created from Carrie's egg, which was fertilized and implanted in Emily so she could be his birth mother.
Oh, I see.
See, they wanted to have like parental legal rights.
I got you.
That's why they did this.
It's all making sense now.
Ezra, this is the other son, Ezra, like from Star Wars Rebels, right? Ezra was created from Emily's egg and implanted in Carrie so she could carry and deliver him. And the first time, it's the first time the procedure known as simultaneous reciprocal IVF has been attempted. This was in the UK, by the way. And
oh my gosh,
it's a strange thing. So
we go back 50 years.
These two boys,
country's so messed up,
literally have two mothers.
Yeah, well, I should say the world is messed up because that's England. The world is just so messed up.
You know, it's strange. I see why they did it because since they did it, that means they both have some biological connection and legality with the child. But it's strange. I mean, it's really strange.
You got that right.
And you know, these IVF treatments are expensive. I was telling you, a friend of mine who used to be a big radio guy, Al Rantel. Some of you that are longtime listeners of mine may remember Al Rantel. He was openly gay, conservative talk show host.
He was very nice. I liked Al. He's a very nice guy.
He had this friend, close friend of his, was a lesbian woman who was an attorney.
Mm.
And you would not know this woman was a lesbian. I mean, she looked like Melania.
Right.
I mean,
lipstick lesbian.
Yeah, and she had a wife. This is before there was gay marriage, but they were like a husband and they were like wife and wife. And her wife looked like Melania too. I mean, this was crazy. And they were getting the artificial thing done, and I don't know how much it is now, but this was in the early 90s, and it was costing $50,000. And was not even a sure success. It was $50,000 whether it worked or not. And a friend of theirs, who was a gay guy in their circle, was donating the sperm, and they were using one of the eggs of which woman, I can't remember which one it was. And I said, why are you spending $50,000? Why don't you just have sex with him for free? And everybody looked at me like something was wrong with me. And then, we were at a party and we were drinking. I guess.
You were young.
I was a lot younger. Yeah. I didn't know you yet. And then Al Rantel, he told me, he says, "Oh, Brian." He says she would never let her go close to the penis. It would never happen. So I said, $50,000? If the guy's a friend of theirs.
You asked why, and what did he tell you?
They might like it.
That's right. He said. They might like it too much.
That's what he said.
She probably would.
That's right. So
it's better than the simulation.
So I don't know how much it costs now. It may be less because it's many years later and science has advanced and it may not be as expensive as it used to be, but it may be more inflation, you know. But it was $50,000 and this was like 92.
That's insane.
93, 4, something like that.
Well, you know, we adopted. I could not have children naturally because of my illness. It would basically kill me. It's like I'd be a high risk pregnancy. So Brian and I, what happened is we, and he knew when we got married right away that I was, wasn't going to be able to have children, and we both knew that naturally. And we really didn't even talk about having kids the first few years we were married. We had other things going on, and I was really just trying to get feeling better. And then what happened is I went to see Peter Pan with my mom, with Kathy Rigby, which was very exciting. The gymnast, isn't that her name? Mm. And she was playing Peter Pan, who she had played it on Broadway and all this stuff. And we saw her at the Broward Center. And we were sitting in the third row, and there are these two little girls with their mother sitting next to me. They were like 5 years old, and they were so cute. So excited because Kathy Rigby was like flying over the audience. It was amazing. And I looked at my mom. I said, I want to have a daughter. I said, I knew right then. I'm like, I want a kid. I want a daughter. And I came home to you and I said, let's adopt. And you're like, yeah. And I said, and I was worried you'd want a son because we really hadn't talked about it. And you said, well, I want a little girl. I don't, you said that's what I prefer to have because you felt like, because you were raised by a single mother that you could relate to it better, I guess. I don't know. We both agreed on having a daughter. And I said, good. And then we started that whole process with an attorney. I could have done the surrogate thing, I had a little money from my grandmother who passed away, but I was afraid of passing on my disease to a kid. So because my disease, you can get it genetically, even though for me it's not. But at the time, I didn't know that. And I said to you, I don't want to have a kid that ends up with my illness. I would be so upset about that because it's a horrible illness to have. So, we adopted. We were both open to it. We used Steve's lawyer, and everything worked out wonderfully. We have a great daughter, Emily, and we adopted her the day after she was born, and she's an amazing kid. I even forget Emily's adopted, even though she's biracial and looks. People have come up to me when we're out together, and I know this has happened to you. And people have said to us, "Oh, you look like your mom."
Yeah.
And I take that as such a compliment because Emily's beautiful. She's beautiful. And I'll just say, "Oh, thank you." And Emily will be like, "Oh, that's really nice." And Emily will say to me, she'll look at me and say, "I forget that you're not my biological mother." You really do forget. But it's amazing the money. I know somebody who went through all this stuff with IVF and all this stuff, spent so much money.
Oh, yeah.
And went through so much pain, and to have a kid of their own, like biologically. I personally don't understand the lengths people go to do it. Why they don't
Well, you know
adopt.
what? There's no,
but, to each his own.
There's no promotion of adoption, so it's people don't understand.
People think it's so hard and that you can't get a kid, but it really is. It was a pretty easy process
and
for
it's not
us.
that
It
expensive.
really was.
And my mother's adopted, so I've always known about adoption. So it's a good thing. Okay, now this I saved the best for last, guys.
This is good.
I saved the best for last. This is very wild, what I'm going to share with you. And what I'm going to share with you today is just starting to circulate on social media. And while I've known this, and many of you have, most people don't know what you all know and I know, okay? That's why they're Democrats, right? There is a video montage going around. Now, E. Jean Carroll, I'm going to play you the audio in just a moment, guys. E. Jean Carroll took her story out of a Law & Order SVU episode.
Right.
And Kathy and I went and watched the episode. It's
on Peacock, I think.
Well, whatever platform you have that has Law & Order SVU on it, Google the episode. It'll give you the episode, and you can watch it. I was blown away. But someone has put together a video with E. Jean Carroll and then going back and forth between that and the Law & Order SVU episode.
It's about time.
And I'm going to play it for you right now. Now, it's Law & Order SVU if you search for it, okay? The Special Victims Unit, right? So, and this is really, I just saw this for the first time on X today, and it's really starting to spread around. And I know President Trump had to put up that bond. This thing is going to get so tossed. I mean, and she's she's going to get locked up in the loony bin because she's a nutcase. Listen.
Want to role play a rape with you in a public place.
Okay, now this first part, this is the Law and Order detective talking to the judge that's accused of this
in the Law and Order, played by Kevin Pollak.
Want to role play a rape with you in a public place.
Role play took place in the dressing room of Bergdorf's. You say you were in Bergdorf Goodman.
I was coming out of Bergdorf's.
Which was a store I heard you liked a lot.
I was coming out, and he was coming in. He was standing out, and he put his hand like this. So I did not go through the revolving door. He came in. He said, "Hey."
The dressing room of Bergdorf's. While she was trying on lingerie, I would burst in. Hold on.
Now, lingerie. Or he could have said underwear. And so we went up the escalator. We went to the lingerie department.
Wow.
It was empty. There was nobody there. There was nobody on the whole floor, friend. It was empty. There was nobody there. There was nobody on the whole floor, friend. It was empty. There was nobody there.
No witnesses.
The whole floor, friend. I think you go through bathing suits and cruisewear. And the store was not populated at the time. Nobody was there. On the counter.
That's going to sound strange to people that nobody was in the...
Because Bergdorf's is the greatest store on the earth.
What about you and Judge Crane? His rape fantasies. You and him in the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room. Holly, what are they talking about?
Most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Told me where to go, when, what she'd be wearing. That she wanted it quick, rough, and public.
Let's go in the dressing room. I thought, yeah, I'm going to make him put pants on. Walked in, and the minute I was in there, he shut the door and pushed me up against the wall and bang my head on the wall and kissed me.
She claims that she fought you.
That was when it turned serious. I realized that this was a fight.
And she wrote in this email dated 5 days ago, if I resist, it only means I want you more.
How long?
Brief, because when a woman is stamping her feet.
I mean, that's it's more powerful when you see the video.
Yeah, go on your Twitter. I'm going to put it in your community section.
I just retweeted it.
That's incredible.
You know what I can understand about this whole thing with E.J. and Carol? Why is he liable for saying things about her, but she's able to accuse him of rape?
Exactly. Good
why
question.
Is it? Why is he the one?
Exactly. Good
I don't.
question.
You understand what I mean? He wasn't
right.
tried and convicted of rape in a criminal court, right? So
Right.
So I don't understand that.
And he has to pay almost $500 million
in all these cases. It's just
he just posted $100 million bond.
Mm. Yeah,
this shows you, and I think people are waking up and seeing this. This shows you this is so corrupt. What's happening? She's clearly lying. Made up the story from. It's almost word for word. Mm-hmm. In fact, when you and I saw that episode of Law and Order, I don't watch SVU, but when we saw that episode,
no, we went and got it on demand.
I couldn't believe
this
it.
Came up.
I said, I can't believe that she is getting away with this. This is word for word. And let me tell you, Bergdorf's is always busy. It is like right on Fifth Avenue or something. Mm-hmm. That's where all the celebrities shop. So she wants to tell you in the middle of Manhattan that nobody was there conveniently to see this, and that Trump banged her. I mean, it was so ridiculous.
Absolutely. Well,
so ridiculous.
Well, listen, guys, we are out of time because President Trump's coming on. He has a rally in Georgia tonight. So we're going to watch his rally, and we'll upload this show after the rally.
Oh, you forgot to mention that Lara Trump was unanimously voted to be the co-chair of the RNC.
Okay.
That's exciting.
No, I didn't
news.
forget, but I wanted to talk about it for more than a second. But I want to say one thing about
this.
Just
for people who didn't know.
Now, the Trumps are very smart people. This is, the establishment are going to try to use this to get at her, okay? They're going to try wait until you start hearing some BS story about financial issues at the RNC under Lara Trump. That's what they're going to do.
Do you think it's a setup?
I'm not saying it's a setup, but they're going to start accusing her of financial crimes or misuse of monies. They're
they just did with Trump. This is what they do.
She's married to Eric. She's a billionaireist, okay? All the Trumps are billionaires. They don't have to use campaign funds to buy clothes like he's like McDaniel and the guy and LaPierre from the NRA. Exactly. Listen, we are out of time because Trump is coming on, but we'll talk to you guys next time, all right? Take care.